What's the stupidest thing you spent a lot of money on? Story 1. I paid for an outdoor kitchen to be built in our yard. I used to be a professional chef before retiring. At the time, I thought it would be neat to cook recreationally outdoors for friends and family. Turns out, I fucking hate it. I hate everything to do with cooking. I am a professional cook, and I almost never cook at home anymore. Story 2 was all the clothes I bought that were too small, thinking that these would motivate me to lose weight. I lost weight, bought new clothes, got rid of all my fat clothes, then put weight back on and had to buy new clothes again. Story 3. I buy kinda expensive ingredients sometimes, and I forget I have them, and they go bad. Multiple times a month probably. I keep buying blueberries for those blueberry muffins I never make. Fresh blueberries freeze really well, and make for great snacks by themselves, as they just kind of slushify instead of freezing solid. Just saying. Story 4. The company I worked for was bought by another company. They had to buy out my stock to complete the sale, so I became a multi-thousandaire. We paid off our car, and my wife and I each took $500 of what remained to buy whatever we wanted. My wife was in culinary school, so she used her money to buy a set of Global Chef knives. We're still using them more than 20 years later. I bought a Rio MP3 player and a Palm Pilot. Both were broken or obsolete within a year. Story 5. Cigarettes. Without a doubt, I was a pack-a-day smoker. Was spending $450 CDN a month. Switched to vaping and I'm at $100 a month. I still cave sometimes, grab a pack, smoke them like a fiend and then feel shitty and go back to vaping. Smoking as a fucker of a habit, man. I'd roundhouse kick my 15-year-old self if I could. Story 6. Our wedding. I think my ex-husband would agree. I've been to a lot of weddings of couples that never plan much beyond the big party they were throwing for themselves that day. Story 7. Magic the Gathering cards. Thousands of dollars wasted on random packs. Impulse bought a $500 graded card that sits on my shelf. I need help. I've had 2 runs playing MTG. After my first run I sold all of my cards, thousands of them. When I decided to pick it up again, I decided I would only buy cards individually. As long as I wasn't after highly desirable rares mythics, most individual cards cost less than a pack, so it just seemed to make financial sense. I'm also not very competitive and like to play rogue decks. I was able to get every card I wanted, and I wasn't sitting on hundreds of cards I never used. Eventually I sold them to a friend, and I'm pretty sure he made out very well. Story 8. I once bought a life-size cardboard cutout of myself. I can't see how that's not a win. Story 9. My coworker told me those inflatable hot tubs they sell on Amazon were awesome. They aren't. When they work, they're pretty sweet. Had a few over the years. Small pump motor inside always fails within a year, and you get the E90 code of death. Expensive for them not to last longer. Story 10. iPads. I've purchased like 5 of them over the years, always thinking I use the hell out of them. Problem is, I'm a video editor, director, producer, and need a full computer to do the things I do. I see folks using their iPads and it looks so fun. I'm a fucking idiot. I have 3 different iPads at my house that my wife and I didn't pay for, and I still think they were wastes of money. They never get used. Story 11. Burning Man. I paid like 3 to 4K all in to live like a homeless person in the desert for a week. Mine was given a buff afterwards. I saw how many people come together to build a 80,000 person city with roads and homes and art and mail and community. As long as each person does their best to be self-reliant, then they are better able to give help to others without needing help themselves down the line. While there are jerks, assholes, thieves, and difficult people and situations, there's plenty of people who can help. You can pull down a ranger, a volunteer group who will mediate with police, and get medical help if you need someone on your side. You can also reach out to Zendo, a group that helps people with difficult experiences on Playa that provide counseling, advice, and a safe space. I've seen people give generously, help generously. A mechanic came from the center camp to help me with my busted van, and that was because a campmate of mine went to go find one for me. Story 12. I confess my sins. I bought premium on dating apps. Years ago, I was swiping away on Tinder when I came across the profile of the server who worked at the gastropub across the street from my apartment. She is the most stunning woman I have ever seen in my life. I frequented the place quite often and got to know her a little. I always made sure not to creep on her while she worked, but I had a crush on her. Now, who knows if she ever even see my profile, and if she does, which direction will she swipe? So I paid for the premium subscription, so I can DM her before swiping. Never got a response. Now I can't go back to the gastropub because, what if she saw the message and just didn't want to reply? Awkward. I stopped going there. Anyway, months later, I'm at a different bar near my place, and I see her there, with some of her friends. I approach her. She hugs me and asks where I've been. I invite her and her friend back to my place for a nightcap. I couldn't believe she was in my place. One by one, people passed out, and it was just me and her talking. I asked her if she ever saw me on Tinder. She said no. I asked her about the message. She said no. She told me she deleted the app because she started seeing someone. She said, "If I saw your message, I would have gone out with you. I usually don't go out with people I've served at work, but you're nice and cute." We figured out the math. She started seeing the dude and deleted the app days after I sent the message. We missed each other by days. FML. She just said, "Oh well. Sorry you paid for the premium service." Later, she gave me a drink on the house at her work, so I guess it evened out. I'm in a happy relationship now, but I sometimes wonder what could have been. Story 13. I've scrolled down pretty far and no mention of exercise equipment. I guess I am the only one. Did you search for expensive clothes hangers? 'Cause that's pretty much what happened with most of ours. I am the complete opposite. Got kicked out of the gym I was going to during the COVID lockdowns. Me and the wife crunched the numbers and realized we were spending $1,500 a year to go to the gym. Spent $1,500 on a squat rack, 300 pounds of weight, bench and bar. We have used it every day since. We then agreed over the next couple years we would invest the $1,500 a year to upgrade our little piece of paradise. Fast forward to today. 4 years later, we now have a gym in our basement that puts all the gyms in our area to shame. We have to squat racks, to benches, to barbells, 1,000 pounds of free weights, adjustable dumbbells up to 90 pounds, functional trainer, leg press, pec deck, rear fly machine, leg extension/sled curl machine, kettlebells, yoga mats and more rack attachments and cable attachments than any sane person needs, treadmill, rower and exercise bike, and a lot pull-down machine. While I did buy a lot of it used, we are definitely way over budget, but it makes both of us happy and healthy. Our friends always laugh and say we could be charging a monthly membership to them to recoup the cost. But fuck them, they all have basements too. This one is mine. Story 14. I spent $200 at Disneyland on a bubbles shooting gun, and about $180 on bubbles. The last time we went to Disney I knew my kid was going to want one, so we bought it ahead of time from Amazon for $10 and packed it with us in the suitcase. Before we left for the park I handed it to him. Boom, 100 saved. Story 15. HP laser printer. Didn't do my research. Spent almost $500 on that boat anchor. Sold it a year later for $150, and to this day I feel like I ripped that poor slob off. Hello, I am a member of the Brother Printer Cult Club. I see you happen to have previously purchased an HP printer. We are so sorry for your poor life choice. May I talk to you a little bit about Brother printers? They are absolutely as good and wonderful as you have heard. Please ignore my husband standing behind me chanting one of us. You really get quite fine with it after owning a Brother printer for a couple of years. Story 16. The Pub. I believe I have single-handedly saved many a pub from bankruptcy. Could just as well have bought myself a case of beer and chilled at home with my buddies and saved myself tens of thousands throughout the years. Story 17. A helmet that I wore for a cosplay. I had it custom 3D printed to my measurements, and spent 2 days covering it in chrome powder, only to wear it once because I didn't like how it turned out and because no one knew who I was cosplaying. Edit. Alright. For everyone asking, you can view my cosplay photos below. This is the helmet I spent a couple hundred on. And then some cardinal copy of cosplay photos for my guesties, too. Story 18. Tickets to see U2 that were $300 or $350 face value on the side of the arena. The band seemed bored to be there, and the entire show I was thinking I could have bought airfare to Cancun for the same amount. I've never paid even close to that much for a concert before or since, and never will.